Hi, this is Zach from Z Boot Reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing the Nike Mercurial Vapor 7. This is a very nice boot. Many people like it. A lot of people like it. I, for one, don't like it that much. I find that the upper is a bit stiff, and it started hurting my foot after a season and a half, and the insole I didn't like that much. But on to the full review. The upper is a very nice Tajin synthetic. It's a really stiff, and so it takes a while to break in, and I didn't personally like the feel and the touch on it. You just get a very stiff upper, and then for a lightweight cleat, it's really not that thin. I'm pressing pretty hard for you to be able to see my fingers through there. And then it scuffs pretty easily. Like if I flip it around, you can kind of see through there. That wouldn't come off when I tried to clean it. I tried to clean them pretty aggressively, and there's still a lot of dirt on them. And now some of that's because I got the white cleat, and so naturally they're going to be a bit harder to clean. So the scuffing isn't all Nike's fault, but if you are someone who likes to have your shoes really clean and really perfect looking, you either don't want to get this upper or you want to get a different colorway. Moving on to the insole. Because it's a lightweight insole, it's really not a soft insole. It had pretty good padding to begin with. It was kind of soft to begin with. But after 1.5 seasons, this yellow stuff kind of wore through, and so now it's just hard, and so there's not much there anymore. After 1.5 seasons, or maybe a little bit less, in the right heel cup, I have the left one here, but in the right heel cup, I'd worn it so far through that I could it was just starting to hurt my feet really bad, because I was playing on some pretty hard ground because there was a drought, and then it had worn through, so it was hurting my feet pretty bad. Then when I flip it over, after it was about using them for 1.5 seasons, you can kind of see that through here there was an area where the stuff started to peel away. Not a big deal, but it gets to be a bigger deal up in here where it's starting to rip, and then down in here where it actually did rip, because in these shoes and in soccer you're constantly on your toes. So my big toe ripped through there, and then they're actually fully peeling away from the color, or from the insole. And now that is just the color, but at times it'll get bunched under your foot or something, and you can start to feel it. Moving on to the outsole. Nike has, in the Vapor line, or the Mercurial line, they have the Vapor and then the Vapor Superfly. And on the Vapor, you have a nice glass fiber outsole, and on the Superfly, you have a carbon fiber outsole. Both of these outsoles are stiff. The carbon fiber outsole is much stiffer, but even this one was very stiff. It's hard to bend, and so it does have perks and cons. It's more responsive, but at the same time it adds a lot of time to the break-in process, and so many people don't like that. A lot of people love this outsole, and I personally liked it because it does reduce stud pressure because of how stiff it is, but it can be hard to break in. And then the stud design, the Vapors and the Mercurial series in general, Nike does a great job with the stud design. You have the kind of 3 studs up in here. You got that, and then all around the forefoot, really. There are 4 sets of 3 studs. And then on the heel, you just have a pretty basic 4 stud pattern. They've got the triangles punched out, and I think that's I don't think you lose that much weight because of that, and so I think that's more of a cosmetic thing by Nike. But the stud pattern, as I said, is very, very good. You get a ton of traction. I've used this on both natural and artificial surfaces. It's one of the best stud patterns I've ever used. I think if I had to rate it, it'd probably come in at about third, but that's just because I've had two stud patterns that I really, really liked. It's a great stud pattern. Moving on to durability. I think it has good durability, but I used them for 1.5 seasons, and this started ripping. It's worse in the other shoe, I think, and so that started to be a little bit of an issue. And then, as I talked about before with the insole, like starts to come, like the coloring on the top part starts to come off, and then you just wear through the padding really fast. And so durability, I know a lot of people say it's really good on the Vapors. I would have liked, just because of how expensive they are, I would have liked to get more use out of them than I did. But I did get about, I don't think I got 1.5 seasons. I got about a season and then an entire summer training. So it's pretty good, but I would have liked more, given that this is one of Nike's premier cleats. And then one thing that I know everyone will be talking about, just because it is Nike's lightweight cleat, and weight is honestly one of the things that everyone wants to hear about, even though it's probably one of the things that makes the least difference in a cleat. This cleat weighs in at 8 ounces, and so compared to the Addy Zero or the Puma SL, it's not really that light of a cleat anymore, as both those have gone under 6 ounces. And so I have trouble calling this a lightweight cleat, but Nike advertises it as a lightweight cleat, and so that's what it fits into when people talk about the heritage and the power and the control, which doesn't really matter either. But it does weigh in at 8 ounces, which is more than I would expect from a top-of-the-line lightweight cleat. But at the same time, maybe Nike's acknowledging that lightweight isn't everything, and that being light isn't going to make it faster. I don't know. I know that they recently came out with the Vapor 8s, which are much lighter. So maybe they're not acknowledging that. I don't know. But they are fairly light. They feel light in the hand, and they feel light on your foot. But I think what's more important is the fact that they do have really good traction. They have pretty good durability, and at least for the first season, they'll be very comfortable. One last thing I wanted to talk about is the tongue. I know that on other shoes, Nike has started putting a memory foam insert in the tongue. This is not the case with the Mercurials, and if you tie your shoes too tight with these, you will get a ton of lace bite. It hurts. Now, if you're someone who doesn't mind that much, or if you just don't tie your shoes quite that tight, then this won't be an issue. But I know I had some issues with it. If I tied my cleat too tight, I usually would go back, untie it, and retie it, because it does hurt. There is no padding through there. Alright, that's my review. Feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, and check me out on Twitter and Facebook at ZBootReviews.